Let's go into LTC Silver, and this is actually one that is very interesting. Now, if you're new to this channel, I've essentially been making the case that this LTC Silver pairing has been our predicament for why we haven't been able to break out when it comes to LTC USD. So you see, we've been very bullish against USD for a very long time, but we never seem to find our breakout, right? So we had the first attempt May of 2023, and we brutally rejected that. We barely tried to get all the way to the top of this accumulative range of interest. April 2024 we crashed, and then we had two failed breakout attempts beginning of 2025, and essentially we've just not been able to escape this channel of accumulative interest. And I've just been making the case that this has been the reason, LTC Silver. And if you actually plot LTC Gold, it's been the same thing. You can see this descending triangle against Silver, lower high, lower high, lower highs. And we finally broke this down. So essentially what we've been seeing with Litecoin's price action has just been, in my opinion, a factor of this. And one of the strangest thing, right, that has happened, that has actually caught my attention even more, is the fact that LTC Silver has had this breakdown. And you can see this breakdown in LTC Silver essentially started 17th of November 2025. So 17th of November 2025. So we got to look at that. When is that? 17th of November 2025 was here. And it's just coincided with Litecoin going down a bit. I want to look at that when it comes to percentage reduction that we experienced. About a 30% drop that LTC has experienced against USD, but against Silver, that has been, let's calculate that. So yeah, it's been a 61%, 62% drop against Silver. And essentially, it obviously has been as a result of Silver going parabolic, but what a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. Just what an absolute coincidence that it just happened to be around then. And it just happens to be the fact that we are kind of, exhausting this downward trend for LTC, towards the bottom of this channel of accumulative interest. What a coincidence. So yeah, we're going to be looking at LTC Silver against XRP Silver, because I don't want to go into talking more about this LTC Silver on its own. So there's a formation that XRP Silver did previously that it broke out of, and then I want to pull that up now. So this is it here. So what's curious to me is the fact that XRP ended up breaking up against Silver. And you can see the move, how very decisive that move was against Silver. And it's sort of like been falling. I don't know what this new formation it's getting into is, but you can see that it went all the way up to the point where it actually got so close to the top of this, the beginning of this formation, right? Which I could just see if I could adjust that. It'd be okay. Yeah, that's perfect. And so we got to close to the top range of this formation for XRP against Silver. But conversely, LTC ended up breaking down. We've broken down against Silver, and we are now in this position where we still haven't found the bottom. And this doesn't look like we're finding the bottom anytime soon, which makes me believe that it's one of two scenarios, right? For LTC, there's a possibility that we find the bottom and start chopping before we start gaining against Silver again. That's a possibility. It's not one that should be ignored. But there's also a possibility that we just blast from here. Now, that is more of wishful thinking, but it's not illogical to think that that can happen if you look at the BTC ratios. But I'm going to get to that in a bit. So I just thought it was very interesting that almost the same formation, albeit the fact that XRP did have this very ugly whatever this is against Silver. I don't know what this ended up being, but you can see that the triangle generally held up. So do we see LTC come all the way back? And that's essentially the question, right? So if we're seeing LTC, there's a possibility that LTC does something like this. I don't know if I can liken this formation that is happening right now. So I don't know if I can liken this drop that we're experiencing in at this stage of the channel to something like what we saw with XRP here, where we sort of like dropped and then we had this violent push back into the channel. But we just saw that happen with Litecoin. It just happened towards the edge of the channel, and it just manifested as like a breakdown of the channel. Because again, I've said this before and I'm still saying it again. In my opinion, it just doesn't make sense why LTC should go down for very long against silver if they are being in fact actively traded against each other, because it just makes more sense that there's far more upside on the reverse side of the trade, which is the way I interpret it. And LTC is an asset that is still in its pre-valuation phase. I mean, we're talking about like a $5 billion asset compared to silver that's a $5 trillion asset. So you do the math, right? And then it's going to make sense. So do we see something like this happen and find our way into having this explosive run that XRP had against silver? So this scenario, does it happen? Do we see it? It's left for us to see. So I'm gonna open LTC BTC to see if there's something there for us to actually see. And actually, yes, there is in fact something to freaking see when it comes to LTC BTC. A lot of people, they see the fact that LTC has struggled a bit when it comes to the USD pairing, and go, oh yeah, that's it, it's that, it's never going to come back again, it's never going to go up, it's it's never whatever, it's just that is going to zero. And it's because like people don't understand how fast LTC recovers, but LTC BTC actually makes this clear, and you can see it. LTC experiences downturns for like very long periods and completely eats it all up with a few monthly candles, and that's it. Sometimes even one monthly candle. You can see this all the way back to 2013 when Litecoin dropped all the way back here against Bitcoin. 6 months, 1 month engulfing every single thing, erased all of those losses, 1 month candle. And you can see this, I counted this last year, it was about 19 months of downturn, completely erased in about 2 months at its peak, because this is this ended up being a spike. 20 months of downturn erased in about 3 months. It's the same thing, went all the way down here. This is about 18 or so months of downturn, again erased in about 3-4 months. Very quickly, you can look at how violent that move was. And essentially what we've been trying to do, in my opinion, is we've been trying to break back above this, and that's, in my opinion, a level to watch. We have simply been repeating this again: bleed, momentum, dries, pump, bleed, pump, bleed, pump. But this time was bleed, momentum, dries, pump. Bleed, momentum is drying, and so there's a possibility that over the next few months we will probably find a more suitable bottom and have a violent pump. So I'm gonna bring up Zcash. So I drilled this level many months ago, and I made the case essentially that Zcash needed to get above that level. And if it gets above that level, it's definitely going to be trading into the hundreds, probably get all the way up to like 700, 800. And back then, Zcash was like $70, $80, getting close to $100. And we did it. We essentially did that. And you can see how, it kind of like used this, level. It kind of held this level for a bit before it started bleeding out against Bitcoin, and, just went on this violent repricing and, reclaimed that level. So the question is, what is that level for Litecoin? And that is what I've been trying to answer with this line here. This line is the same level for Litecoin, because that is definitely going to be taking us above this blue EMA ribbon, and we're probably going to start consolidating around there, which will give this EMA ribbon enough time and enough momentum to start reversing. And that reversal can happen over multiple years before allowing Litecoin to be able to enter into macro reversal against Bitcoin, which I believe is something that is worth looking forward to. That's essentially what I've been making of this LTC BTC chart. And because of how imminent this looks, right, this reversal looks, so like I said, it could happen anytime. It could happen next month, it could happen in 6 months. It's just one of those things you need to factor in. So LTC is ready. That's just the truth. It's ready, considering all of this is ready. It's ready to just absolutely flip and rip, and it shouldn't come as a surprise if it doesn't. I said that last stream, and I'm saying it again, it shouldn't come as a surprise if it doesn't. So in my opinion, the first pit stop will be around this yellow line of the EMA, and that is essentially 0.0022. That's definitely going to be the first pit stop. I mean, it just somehow coincides with the last place that we sort of like found support last time, and that's probably somewhere we're going to grind for a bit before we take the second leg that will reclaim this level for us. And it is when we reclaim this level against Bitcoin that I believe that we can start talking about like a macro reversal and start talking about Litecoin climbing up these ratios, probably over the next decade. Who knows? We could talk about astronomical target. We could talk about 1 Litecoin to 4 Bitcoin or something like that. All of those things, you know that. So because of how ready LTC BTC is, it makes me believe that LTC Silver can in fact perform this miracle that I have drawn here.